Hey, everybody, Steph here. So somebody asked me to identify the things that will make a freelancer successful versus a freelancer who isn't successful. What do you do to be a successful freelancer? Well, it comes down to two things that are kind of strange. Now, number one, well, it seems kind of strange. Number one, you need to have interpersonal skills. You have to go out there and be able to communicate with people and get along with people, listen to people, because at the end of the day, when you're doing freelance work, you're going to be doing freelance work 99% of the times for small businesses. So it's a lot about interpersonal relationships. It's about contacts, getting to know people. They have to get to trust you. Now, I'm assuming that you've done the prerequisites. You know how to code. You've done at least one or two little apps on your own. So you have the technical skills. So now how do you take these technical skills and turn them into clients? How do you get the clients? So first thing you have to do once you learn your technical skills, and that means, let's say you decide that in your area that you see a lot of demand for WordPress modifications, installs, maybe little shopping cart integrations, that kind of stuff. So that means you got to know your HTML5, your CSS, some JavaScript, and PHP. Why PHP? Because WordPress is built in PHP, Joomla is built in PHP, Drupal is built in PHP. A lot of shopping cart apps and systems are PHP based. Just knowing PHP, even if you're not going to be writing complete apps in PHP, is going to have a huge advantage for you as a freelancer. Anyway, technical skills aside, you should have a website that looks pretty decent. It doesn't have to be super fancy because you're not selling your design skills, you're selling your developer skills. But it still has to be clean. And if you don't know how to design a clean looking site, or if you don't have the visual, the eye to be able to design something that looks cool, just get a template. Just get one of these templates. You get a free one, or you could get a paid one. If you install WordPress, for instance, as your website, there's thousands of templates you could use. Take a template, make some mods, and if you're really bad with design, have a nice little logo and just have a plain, very minimalist design. Put your nice logo and it will look great. You have to have some sort of site that prospective clients can come to and they can see, oh, this guy, this girl knows what they're doing. Even though you just put up a template, they don't know. That's why they're looking to hire you. And even if they ask you, why'd you use a template? You could just be honest. Say, listen, I'm not a designer. I'm a developer. So my job is to put it all together like a mechanic. I'm not somebody who designs the car from scratch, to make an analogy. And that's very legitimate. Again, I always say in business, transparency, being honest, being upfront about what you are offering is a much better policy. Not just because it's just the right thing to do, but you'll see in the medium and long term, it's actually better for business. Okay, back to the two major elements I think that really impact in terms of being a successful freelancer. Number one, you have to have good relationships and interpersonal skills. Be willing to listen to people, to be open-minded, go out, meet people, talk to people, say, hey, I'm a developer. If you ever need some work done, I can help you out, blah, blah, blah. And you see, at first, it's going to take a little bit of time, depending on where you live, but you just keep knocking on doors, be a nice guy, nice girl, and you will get the gigs. You got to remember, when you're dealing with people, at the end of the day, a lot of the reasons they're going to choose you over somebody else is because they just find you a pleasant person, an honest person to work with. One of the reasons I got some of my first jobs is for simple little things. For instance, I got one of my biggest contracts with, well, multiple contracts with a company that had many small businesses under it. It's because when they came to visit my place, they saw that I know this is going to sound silly, they saw that my apartment was very neat. My place was very clean and neat, and I'm just like that in my life. And they assumed, well, since this guy has got a pretty neat apartment, it's not a mess. That means his code would probably be clean. His work ethic would probably reflective of that. So it sort of extended trust. So something as simple as that, having a clean, well-kept apartment that they were able to see, was very helped me to get the gig. They told me this like a year later. That was a big part of it because you got to remember a lot of these clients. You can tell them I know this, and this, and this, and that, but they don't know. They that's why they're hiring you. Most of them won't know what all that means. They have no way to judge whether you're a good coder or not. So they're going to try to judge your ability as a coder by other things, like how you conduct yourself, how you dress, if you return calls, if you're polite, this sort of thing. This is very important, something that a lot of coders overlook, I think, because they're so concerned about the tech. So consider that. Interpersonal relationships, how you present yourself, how you treat others, big part of being a successful freelancer and in all business, by the way. And the other thing, this is going to sound kind of strange, when you start getting a lot of contracts, and they will come, what you're going to see as a freelancer, it comes in waves. It comes in waves. You got nothing else, and boom, you got all kinds, and you don't know what to do with it all the work. And then it will come down, and it will be like this. The key to success, I find, is through rapid application development strategies, and realization that most web projects, most apps, not just web, but most apps, they'll hit a stalling point at about 3/4 of the way through. It's very strange. It's just the way, I guess, psychology is in humans. You're going to get through the first draft, and then you're going to deliver, 90% of the work, and then there's going to be this long, drawn-out process. And a lot of times, projects just fade into non-existence. So, with that in mind, you want to work as quickly as possible to get those first 2/3 done in terms of feature set. So that means not going crazy to make rock solid code first time around. You just tighten up that code. You do all of the heavy lifting at the tail end of the project, because you'll find many of times you could get paid 3/4 of the project, only write 25, do only 25% of the work, and then the project sort of fades away. I've seen that happen so many times, not just with me, but other people as well. So I talked about that in previous videos and way in the past, writing beta code up until you get 3/4 of the payment. Because a lot of times that will be it. You will never have to write anything more but beta code. And as you know, if you're a developer, that's where a lot of the work is. A lot of the work is going from a system that's fully functional but full of bugs, with bugs rather, and taking it from a fully functional but buggy state to the non-buggy state. That's where a lot of the work takes place. And a lot of times you'll never have to take it past that beta stage, because I just see it so many times. People have different ideas. The businesses decide, we're not going to pursue it anymore. So you start doing that, and you start becoming insanely profitable because your time is maximized. So for instance, if you follow this strategy, what you find is you'll do 25% of the work and get 75% of the pay. And this will happen more than once, that's for sure. And if you do the math, you see how your rate per hour will just skyrocket, right? I don't know if that makes any sense. If that doesn't make any sense, let me know in a comment below and I'll address it, but I hope it does. So there are my 2 tips: interpersonal relationship, delivering beta code, and getting paid 75%. And this way, you're going to be making much more money per hour as a developer. And finally, when choosing your languages, I know this question is going to come up. When choosing your languages, which is the best language, which is the best framework, check out your area, check out where the demand is. It's very regional oftentimes. It also depends on the type of work you want to do. And I've talked about this in other videos, so I won't here. So that's pretty much it. See you.